Hi dear friends, welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be reviewing another fountain pen, and that is of Chinese origin, and this is a Hero 336, which you see it here. The Hero 336 resembles the Hero 616 fountain pen from China, with some minor differences. This Hero 336 also has a hooded nib reminiscent of the Parker 51 and Hero 616 that you see it here. Both have hooded nibs, and the difference is that here the design it's a little bit different in that it has this arrow here. I will come back to it later. But the aspect of the 336 here, it's a little bit different. It's not one-to-one, let's say, imitation or a scale of Parker 51, in the sense that it has the barrel is not rounded like you see in Hero 616. It's flat and it's supposed to have some gold trim. Also, the cap looks quite different. It has a different design here. You see here on the ring of the cap, you see here Hero 336, and that some Chinese characters would probably mean Hero, and here made in China. Also, the clip here is a hinge clip, which I like it very much. I like it much more than in the Hero 616. This looks somehow flimsier and it's not so well worked here. And also the top of the cap is completely flat. Now, it's also built from the same material, probably feels a little bit plasticier than Hero 616, produced by the same manufacturer. And I don't think with here, at least at the end of the barrel, this is plastic, and the gold trim kind of wears off, so the build quality is very poor, I must say. And also the cap looks actually fine. It's probably not made out of plastics, probably made out of metal, but here at the end of the barrel, this is for sure plastic that is already wearing off. Now, removing the cap, we discover here the section. The section has a inlaid arrow here, which actually chips off. How can I show you? But if I slide my nail across it, you can actually hear it. I actually removed it. It's horrible. It's not even inlaid. It was glued on top of that, and very flimsily it just fell off. It's extremely poor build quality, I must say. That's unfortunate. But also this fountain pen, I think they are not as cheap as the Hero 616. For this one I've paid I think $5 per 10 in a box, but half of them didn't work anyways. In this case I paid maybe a few dollars per one. I thought it was a better quality, but I was, I guess, to be disappointed. Now, the nib is an inlaid nib as Parker 51 you have, and the feed is the typical feed that you also find in Hero 616. So it's not a magnificent pen, and I will do next a writing sample and see how that works. So I'll zoom in a little bit here toward the paper so you can see better the writing sample I'm gonna give next. It's an extremely light pen. It can be easily kept. I forgot to mention about the filling system, typical aerometric filling system. This one, I had the subjective feeling that it works better than 616. The build quality is not that great, but this is what you can expect from this series of fountain pens. I think the important part is also, of course, how it looks, but also how it writes. And I must say I was quite impressed with how this fountain pen writes, to my surprise. And although I didn't give a writing sample for the Hero 616, my general feel is that the build quality seems to be better here, but this particular one writes smooth and surprisingly smooth for its width, let's say, for its specifications, and I was quite impressed with how it writes considering the poor build quality it has. So I will give you a writing sample. So for the writing sample I'm going to use it capped. So this is Hero 336, and as you can see, somehow it writes very smoothly. This is a normal nib, the standard size nib, which is probably a extra fine to a fine, and this probably is a steel nib with a plastic feed. Given that the size is so small, it writes surprisingly smooth. I would compare it in smoothness to what you maybe to the Sailor 1911 medium size nib, medium fine. I have one in my collection, so it really writes fantastically smooth for its for what I was expecting in smoothness. Of course, 1 to 10, with 1 being the smoothest, I would say this is a 2.5 or better. No feedback whatsoever. The nib feels rigid, so it doesn't give that flexy feel. Also, I probably cannot be flex. So reverse write, it writes surprisingly well. And I'm quite impressed with its performance. I'm also impressed because it gives a ink flow consistency, which is very unusual in Chinese fountain pen. I found the whole range of the cheap ones, the 450, the 159, they have issues with consistency, ink flow consistency, so after a while it seems that the ink saturation drops just because the feed cannot keep up. So I don't know what kind of feed this has, but in terms of wetness, this is kind of surprisingly wet. The ink here is Pelican, the typical Royal Blue, the 4001 Royal Blue, and you see no skips, and quite impressive. So I'm not sure, it's probably a huge variation in terms of quality and performance that you are getting, as I've also observed with Hero 616. But this, in comparison to any Hero 616, and I have a huge amount of them here, as you can see, Hero 616, I have a feeling this writes much smoother and performs much better in terms of feed, wetness, lubrication, tipping with iridium and so on. So I have a feeling this is of better quality, except better writing performance, except that the build quality, as you can see, the arrow detached, so flimsy build quality here, but all in all, this is a very usable pen and performs surprisingly well. I will rate its writing performance on par with, let's say, Sailor, and well, of course I have a hard time saying that, but I'm really impressed with its writing performance, as you also seen here. Quite nice. I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.